Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. Oh, hello, Jen. Oh, that's totally cool. Missing the Facebook Live. It's nice to have you here. Yeah, so this is a really busy time on YouTube. So if you are hopping between, I think there's a few of us live streaming all at the same time. So there's lots of juicy content to watch right now. And before 2020 came to a close, I wanted to share with you my top 5 Oracle decks of 2020. And as well, I thought I could do what I did in the top 5 tarot decks, is to go through and to also have a look at some of the decks I didn't purchase, some of the ones I'm still considering purchasing, because isn't it just amazing, that number, the sheer number of decks that are published every year? And we're so fortunate that we have the websites of the publishers themselves, and of course all of the previews, the walkthroughs that people do on YouTube. So we're blessed in that way, that we can be a little discriminating in all of the decks that we purchase. Yeah, it's really overwhelming. So at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 for 2020. Most of them, I believe all of them, you have already seen. There should be no surprises. But there's a few really interesting ones that I didn't purchase that I might. And so I'm going to go through a few of the publishers' websites and just make a few comments to some of the ones that I find a little bit, that I find intriguing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to start with Blue Angel. Oh, that works out good. Okay, and this one I'm going to remove for now. All right, so this is the Blue Angel website, which is a really, I mean, all of the websites are, this one and Rockpool in particular are really well done. So what we're looking at here at the top are decks that are coming out in 2021. And there's a few here that caught my attention that I wasn't aware of. So for example, if you're looking for an Oracle deck for kids, this one is by Stephen Farmer. That is, I met him when he was married to Doreen Virtue years and years ago. And so you may be familiar with some of his other animal decks. One of his older ones is one of my favorite decks, but he's come out with this deck in conjunction with Pamela Anzalotti. And it looks like it's a collab deck. So if you're looking for a deck for kids, this one is really pretty. It's really bright and beautiful. Might even appeal to you. So this one was definitely not on my radar. Another one that I think is really, really pretty, and you know, for those of you that connect with the Greek mythology, there may be something about this particular deck that is of interest to you. Alana Fairchild writes a good guidebook, but as I was saying in the video, I don't know if you saw my video on the Kali deck that is coming out. It really feels to me like Alana has been really put to the grindstone, and there's been a lot of publications over the last year. And so this is a new deck that came out this year that I haven't purchased, but I just thought it was really pretty. So if you resonate with this energy and weren't aware of this Pegasus deck, this is something that, you know, it's one of the ones that I actually like. And I have been looking for a dragon deck, and we're going to look at it. I'm not sure if we'll have time today, but there's a few of them. I will mention the names of the dragon decks that I was interested in, because there's 2 new dragon oracle decks that came out this year. And I've really been trying to be more discriminating in the decks that I purchase. And so these are all 2020 decks. The other one that caught my eye was this Lantern Oracle, which I actually thumbed through at the shop where I work, and I decided not to buy it. And again, you know, it just has a little too much of a photorealistic vibe for me. So I decided not to purchase it. I loved the image on the color, and there's a few of the images that really appealed to me, but not enough to purchase the deck. And I really feel like my Sacred Rebels deck checks off a lot of boxes in this regard. Hello, Ananya. Jen, you're back. Mary Beth, hello. Jackie, hi there. Hey there, hi there. So yeah, so this is one that I was considering, but it's just I decided not to purchase it. So this is Blue Angel that we're looking at, and I will be going to Rock Pool. Now this one came into the store this week, and I was looking at this one, and I just thought, again, here is another deck that it just looks like kind of same old, same old. But I think the thing is, you know, with this vast number of decks that are coming out every year, if there is one that really scratches an itch for you, there's just so much to choose from. Hello, Janine. Thanks for joining us. And, you know, I think sometimes it's just one card for some people. And this, you know, this deck may, I don't know, there's something about it. It's called Cosmic Dancer. This name is familiar to me here, Tess Whitehurst. I would have to look up her name and see what other decks she has. Now, the Beyond Lemuria, I did not purchase. I know, see that Jen commented on it. It was just a little too cartoony for me, a little too alien. But I know several people who have purchased it, and they just love it. They love the colors. They love the images, the artistry, and so forth. Jen said, what did you say about this deck, Jen? I saw you said something here. Beyond Lemuria has been in my local crystal shop for at least 4 months or more. Okay. And somebody else, Apurva, came in. Hello to Apurva. So Andrew says he's on the fence with Archeo Personal Archetypes Oracle. All right. So yeah, so these are this is Blue Angel. So this is one. And then I think we go to 2019 here. So we won't look at those ones. Okay. I have to actually go in and out and stop and start sharing. It's a very tedious process here. Okay, so let's go to Blue Angel. And I'm going to do some indie decks too that I'm really interested in. Oh, so no, Rock Pool is what I'm looking for. Rock Pool. Maybe it's this one. Jen didn't buy any Oracle cards this year. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, so this is Rock Pool. And as you know, so this one here, the Self-Love Oracle, I did a video on this one, and I did an interview with Akal Pritam. And so this deck is not in my top 5 for this year, but it's definitely it's a really interesting deck that I'm glad that I purchased, and I love the journal, and the journal has been reprinted and it is available again. This one here, Mystic Healing Reading Cards by Ina Segal. Now you might recognize Ina Segal's name. She has, there are other decks by her, but look at this one. Now this one came out this year as well too. I haven't seen any walkthroughs of it. And it is very, very cool. And I could see this deck pairing really nicely with some of the old ARC decks. And this card here just really does something for me. So let me know if any of you have this deck. Hi, Nora. And Maria's, hello, welcome. Yeah, so I thought that's a pretty powerful card. And look at this one. This is really interesting with this cloth fabric here. So I might be purchasing this one. This came out at some point this year. I believe this must be the back of the cards. So yeah, so let me know if any of you have been working with that one, because that was kind of a surprise for me, as far as a deck I wasn't aware of. It wasn't on my radar. And then the only other one, so Andrew, were you talking about this one here? Psychic reading cards? I believe there was a comment. I was just looking. Oh, no, you said Archeo Personal Archetypes Oracle cards. So there's this one, but the one that I didn't purchase that I'm very, I was really impressed with. I saw this on somebody's channel. They were doing readings, and I love that this is going to be a series of decks. And so there's going to be a deck for every point on the wheel. So I guess eventually there will be 8 decks. And this is the one for Samhain. And I love the artwork. I love the artwork, and I really like that there's going to be 8 decks, one for each point on the wheel. Love the backs of the cards. So this one is I'm definitely going to be purchasing. I was really kind of impressed with that one. Not so much with the Elemental Oracle, and this one here, the Green Witch Oracle, I do have it pre-ordered. This one, to me, I'm going to have very specific ideas of how I'm going to work with it. And this one is coming out in 2021, but we're not looking at decks ahead. But I'm very excited about that one too. So that's Rock Pool. Okay. I have so many different kind of piles and things here, because I wanted to really just say, what do you know? What's your favorite from 2020? Because I would love to know what yours is. For those of you that collect decks from Deja Osborne, and her website is Deja Druid. Now, this is not the one that came out this year, but I believe she did come out with a new deck this year. And the quality of the production of her cards has really, really gone up. And I'm pretty sure this one was 2019. And the one that came out this year looked equally beautiful. So this is a little bit of a pet peeve with me. So the mass market decks have to put on a publication date, and the indie decks don't always do that. So I know that she came out with a new one this year, and I just wanted to mention that. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody coming in. So what did Westar say? I just wish there could be more diversity in that season's deck. Yeah. And maybe that's why, when I was talking about one of the, I forget one of the ones on Blue Angel, it's like they all look like that, Liz. They're all young and thin and flowy long hair. So we have seen more diversity, I believe, through the tarot than we have with oracle decks. I think the last oracle deck that showed any kind of variation in that regard was the Everyday Witch Oracle. They really, really improved on the tarot in that regard, and gave us last year that deck. So that was good. Sunny asks if people use oracles in combo. I use them in combo all the time. once in a while, I will use an oracle card. Like I always have oracle cards out. And I don't know if you saw the video I posted yesterday. I've started posting my Kwanzaa videos. But certain decks have a particular energy. And if you're looking for a hug, I'll go to this deck. If I'm looking for, some straight delivering kind of message, I'm going to go to this book. If I'm doing a past lives spread, I have certain oracle decks that I use and certain tarot decks that I use. And I find that the oracle decks in my collection, it's very easy to put them into a box. I have very few well-rounded oracle decks. So I don't have that many in well, that's not true. I have a lot. And is Masha here? Hello, Masha, if you're here. Liz says the Lantern Oracle was kind of diverse. It did have some crones. Okay, good to know. But every woman was skinny and traditionally pretty. Okay. Yeah, and so I love to do combos, and I haven't added to this playlist for a while, but it's really fun. And I'm going to be doing combos, Oracle and Tarot, when I do the readings on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And I just think it makes sense because the oracles bring in another layer of energy. All right, so let's go back to, I'm going to take off Janine's comment first. Cancel, do this. Okay, screen sharing. All right, bear with me here. So a lot of you have heard my story about my box in the US. And if you haven't, I have a PO box in the US, and I have not been able to pick up, even though this deck came from Canada, it was delivered through my US PO box. But I wish I had this deck in hand. I'm so sorry that I don't. And one of the reasons I purchased the Antiquities of Magic Oracle by Gillian Wilding was because it reminded me of a Lenormand deck. And I'm planning on using it. I think it's a really good crossover between Lenormand style readings and oracle readings. And so you don't get that. I find with oracle decks, it's like a lot of them have a message unto itself. They're very hard to put in combination, like the Sacred Rebels Oracle or some of the Alana Fairchild oracles that have pages and pages and pages and pages, like a long commentary and a meditation and a practice and lots of things to do. And I love those. And they work really, really well on their own. But those decks I find are very hard to use in combination with tarot. And so the thing I liked about Jillian's oracle deck is that the cards will pick up on symbols in other cards. So if the rose needs to come into attention in the tarot deck, then the rose card in the oracle deck is going to show up. And I just really think that the simplicity of this deck is, it just really appeals to me. And I'm so sorry that it's just sitting out of hand for me right now. Let's see here. Sorry, I know that makes people seasick when I do that. But I think it's really, really pretty. Do any of you have this deck? I will answer Andrew's question in just a second. I'm just going to stick it up there. Okay. So let's put that one away. I've got a few, before I show you some cards that I actually have in hand, I've got a couple other websites I just wanted to comment on. And I have a question for you. So Oh, I've lost you now. I can't even see you. There you are. Hello. So this is a UK deck. There's two decks. One is called Ethereal Orbs, and the other one is called Astro Soul. Ethereal Orbs and Astro Soul. Does anybody know what year these came out? How long ago they came out? They look absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know where, I'll show you in case you don't know what I'm talking about. So this is one of my pet peeves with let's see if we can look at more pictures. So this is this one. So Maria has it. I have it, but this is new insight about how to use it with tarot. Andrew says this year or last year. Okay. So there's this one. There's the Astro Soul. And then there's another one. So they have two decks, and I'm sure the postage and everything, like to get it here, is quite expensive. But this one I am really interested in because this one is connected with Vedic astrology. And that's on my list of things I'm gonna master for sure. I'm gonna start studying Jyotish at some way this year. So Astro Soul came out this year. Oh, hello, Alana. I don't know if I said hello to you. So this one I'm just really, really intrigued with. And it would be very expensive to order both and have them shipped from the UK. So I need to kind of think about that. What are you saying here? I love listening to you guys. I love reading your comments. Okay. Astro Soul was a Kickstarter late last year. Okay, good to know. And Ethereal Orbs, oh, thanks, Marias, was this year. All right, good to know. So Andrew asked, what is my favorite deck combo? That's such a hard question, because when I pick up a deck, so for example, if I were to, like I look at the colors. So I did a video. Did you know this? I did a video on this is a while back, on my top 5 deck combos, but I haven't done one recently. And some of you, as you know, I'm in love with this Primordial Tarot. I think this deck has something really magical going on in it. And this, when I find the perfect oracle for this is going to be something like Oracle de Reflet. So the one by Celia Melsville, because of its brown, and it's going to look so beautiful with this. So I really can't answer your question, Andrew, but I just, when I look at a tarot deck, I know exactly what I want to go with it. It's got to have, so for example, Oracle de Reflet is very gutsy deck. Like, it's not a hug deck by any means, and neither is the Primordial. So energetically, they go together well. And those browns and those colors and the browns that are in the Primordial fit really well together. So, yeah. I mean, I have my favorite go-tos that I use all the time. And I don't know, I just don't really think I have a favorite combo right now. And it's so funny. I pull out so many of my old decks over and over and over again. Yes, I grab the tarot first, and then I focus on, so that's my process. So I look at the tarot, I focus on the energy and the color and the line art, like the design, like the way it's drawn. So if it's a watercolor, or if there's a lot of white space, or if it's oil painting, like I want to make sure that the colors and the style and the vibe go together. And so I just kind of feel, so I start with tarot, yes. Usually, I'm sure there's been exceptions the other way around. Yeah, it's quite a special deck. Okay, so shall we carry on? Yay. Let's have a look at, I know there was a couple other websites, but you probably don't want to see any more screens. I just wanted to see what I had up here. Oh, Hay House. Yes, I have the Hay House screen and also Red Seeds Oracle. So Red Seeds Oracle now has Red Seeds 1, 2, and 3. Another UK deck that I haven't invested in. I don't know that I would use it, but there's something about the Red Seeds Oracle that is really, I don't know. It's intriguing, and I guess it's one of those decks you have to have in hand. So let me know if any of you have the Red Seeds Oracle 1, 2, or 3. Red Seeds 3 came out this year, and how you use it, and if you like to use it. And then I'm just going to quickly go to the Hay House website, and just kind of this is the last screen I'm going to share. I know this is annoying. This one. Okay. So I want to go back to the beginning of the year. So at the beginning of the year, am I allowed to say this horrible deck? I'm sorry if any of you love this deck. Goddess Power Oracle came out. I was so, anyway, that was kind of like the beginning of 2020. And then all the other decks, most of the other decks here came out this year. Crystal Spirits and all of the Hay House decks I have shuffled, I have held in hand, I've touched every single one of them, and I didn't purchase any of them, any of the Oracle decks. There are just none of them really grabbed me. And I didn't purchase one. And I held every single one of them. Messages from the Mermaids I shuffled just the other day. Spellcasters, 7, what's this one called? Oracle of 7 Energies, Mediumship Training Deck. Angel Guide I had a look at yesterday, held in hand. And no intention of buying any of them. And I guess I'm really lucky because of the shop. I go once a week to this shop in town and I do readings there. I have the privilege of holding cards in hand. I did buy a new deck. Actually, I bought a few. I bought a few the other day. So I do not have any affirmation decks other than, if you want to call these ones affirmation decks, the little ones. So I don't have any, and they're just not my vibe. And this deck, this new one, Spirit Junkie, is the same creator as The Universe Has Your Back. And there's a few other ones that this duo, Gabrielle Bernstein and Michaela Ezra, have come out with. And first of all, the title really caught my name. And I'll share the camera so you can see the cards. Just let me add the camera. This one's probably better, hey? There we go. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why I purchased this one. Do you have these affirmation decks? Like, is this something that you collect or you have a bunch of? Let me know, because I'm, and I'm going to show you the card that got, well, maybe I'll show you a few of them. So these are the backs. They look much like all the other ones in this series. But there was something a little bit different. I just felt, and I actually looked at, what's it called? There's one that also came out recently that I looked at it and I decided not to buy it, by the same two women here. But I just kind of felt that this deck had a little more space on it. There was more art and less writing. I find on a lot of these decks, it's really hard. Like they're so busy, busy, busy. And I actually really liked this one. And there was one card that really grabbed me. And so I decided to purchase this deck. Because I thought, well, maybe I do need one of these in my collection. So let's go here and see what you guys are saying. Jen has Gabrielle's first deck, The Universe Has Your Back. Okay. You've read her books. Okay. And you use them at the end of a reading, Andrew. Okay, good to know. So yeah, so there was something about this one that just, I don't know. It just felt like it had a little more space, and I liked that a lot. And we haven't gotten to the card that that really grabbed me. And in the demo deck at the shop, this card was just called to me. So yeah, so now I have one of these decks. It's probably going to be the last card in the pile. Oh my goodness. Where are you? I was not planning on doing this. Oh my. Where are you? Seriously. Okay, I guess we're going through all the cards. That's too bad. I don't know. I think it's pretty. I think I can work with this. And you know what the thing is? I think it's not too cute. You know what? It's not too cute. It's not too girly. I think it is more versatile than some of the other decks. Oh my goodness. I can't find the card. Okay. So the card said something about not being small. And it really struck a chord with me. That's a pretty card. So kind of some different messages. Are you kidding me? I'm going to find it now after spending this much time. So I've shared this story with you, I think, about not being allowed to talk when I was a little girl. Oh, I think it was this card, actually, this card that got me. So this one here. So it says, I'm committed to bringing forth my greatness. I will no longer play small. And there was something about that message that it really touched me in a special way, because there were so many times when I was a kid, we were taught children are to be seen and not heard. Children ate separately than the grown-ups when the grown-ups were there. I remember at a particular, anyway, there was just lots of times. And so this one really touched me. So I decided to purchase this one. So yeah. So there's lots lots and lots of indie decks that came out this year as well too. This one came out. This is from Wasima, Ascension Waves, who is on Tarot too, and she's really expanded her website and her offerings, and she has a lot of beautiful shamanic teachings and so forth. And this book is in French and in English. There's no pictures inside the book, but I'll show you a few of the cards. I have shared this a couple of times, I think. It's lovely linen cardstock. And it really is a deck about ritual and magic. It has a unique feel to it in that the corners are almost square. And so I received this deck towards the end of the year. It's quite body beautiful. It's funny, hey, how there's seemingly no awareness about that in Oracle decks. Okay. Just gonna check back with you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. I guess, okay, so you're talking about removing some of the cards from the deck. Remove the cards that don't resonate with you. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Oh, there's a crone here in the Seek Advice card. And you get a lot of the shamanic energy in this deck as well, too. So yeah, so that one came out this year. It's called Nest of Light Oracle. Are any of you working with that one? The other indie deck that I have in hand that came out this year, another is this one, Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle. This one is by Mandy Peterson. Comes with this large guidebook. And Mandy has done an amazing job. I will eventually do a full review of this deck. I have not done much work with past lives since I got this deck. So it comes in a large box. This square box is an interior box that came in a large package. It's really lovely produced. It's got nice purple edges, which I love. These are the extra cards here, which I will leave in. And like her other decks, you can use both sides of the cards. So Mandy's quite clever that way, and the way that she's created. So on the backs, so this says accident, death, island, location. Well, you can read it yourself. Young male, identity. And so I believe there's about 6 or 8 different backs. And I have sorted these actually. Animal attack, death, accident, trauma. So this side of the card, there's quite a few variations. Plague or contagion, death, India, location. And in the guidebook, she has lots of ways to share. Lots of ideas about how to use this deck. Love, LGBT, faith, secret faith. So these are the backs, and there's I think about 8 different backs. And then these are the fronts. And then on the front, you have four keywords. Let me just go this way. There we go. No, there. You have 4 keywords on each card. So this one is herder, animal lover, animal care, and other. I'm not sure what other means, but. And you could actually lay these out like dominoes, you know, so like they're touching each other. Professional model hobbyist collector. Oh, and then in the center is the key theme. So like I said, I haven't worked with it. I've gone through it, I've sorted it, I've played with it. And I need to think about how I'm going to use it. And I need to also finish the guidebook, reading the guidebook. So I'll show you a few more cards. The thing about it, though, is it's very, very specific. So this one says insanity, delusions, hallucinations, hysteria, and mania. So let me know what you think about this. This one says instruction, master, teacher, mentor, academic. In the center, it says swindler. And around the edge, it says swindled, exposed, perpetrator, evaded capture. So, yeah, I love the artwork. I think of all of her decks, like just from an aesthetic point of view, I like this one the best of any of her decks. I think Mary Beth said something. Yes, I'm waiting on Cosmic Visions as well too, Andrew. Mary Beth practices evolutionary astrology. Okay, you could see this working with horoscopes. And Nora likes it too. And hello to Erin Owls, welcome. So yeah, so I am intrigued. It's a lot of cards. The card stock is bendy. I don't even know if I've tried to shuffle the whole shebang. Here, let me back out. Let's see if I can shuffle. Yeah, I can easily shuffle the whole shebang. Oh, maybe. Oh. It feels smaller. It's a little bit smaller in diameter than the other art. What's the other arc? Kim Kranz's archetype deck. And the paper is a little bit thinner. And it feels, yeah, I think you'd really have to think about how you're going to work with it. You know, it's a little bit complicated is what I was going to say. Okay. Now these, I've done a couple videos on my collection of tiny little decks. And these two came out in 2020. And I believe there's a couple others that I have that came out in 2020. And there was something about the island energy of Let Go. And I have purchased a couple of different copies of this deck, gave them away. And I just really felt that, you know, with these little decks, you often don't get a lot of artwork. You just get illustrations on the back. So with a lot of them, there's just words with some decorations. But this deck, you get unique artwork on each card. And this was on my entryway altar for a long time. And I just really, I don't know, I just felt like it was a breath of fresh air. And I loved the title. There was something about the title, which is Let Go, that really, really appealed to me. And then I decided to purchase this one as well too, inspired by Frida, which is also by Akal Pritam, who I interviewed on my channel. And this one, like Let Go, also has unique art on every single card. And then on the back, there is a message. And the backs in this one are all the same. The backs on Let Go, I believe there's a few different backs, but this one is quite extraordinary as well too. Oops, sorry. Should watch what I'm doing. And I just really felt something very, very special with these two mini decks this year. So yeah, I really kind of expanded my mini deck collection, and I did a whole video on how I use them. So I definitely use them creatively. This indie deck came out this year. This is by Cedar McLeod, creator of the Numinous Tarot. And this was a huge, I was so happy to receive this. Like, wow, 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 wow. I was so impressed. Like, I would buy this just for the box. Like, the box rocks. And this is just a perfect pairing to the Numinous. This is based on a novel that Cedar has written, and the novel is available in paperback and PDF. And so the cards, I've done a whole video on this, I think. You can check that out. It's really beautiful. And this, like the Numinous Tarot, is extremely diverse, inclusive in every way. So I'm very, very happy with this deck. It's very magical as well, too. So, yeah. Let's just check in with some of your comments here. Let's see here. Alana says to date, her favorite oracle is Divine Feminine Oracle. I think that's the one with the orange box, right? Yeah. Fairy Wren is so sweet and affordable, a little deck. Oh, yes. Fairy Wren is talking about the little box. Hello, Lily5146. Okay. And Jackie likes the box. Jen likes Divine Doors. Yes, so Divine Doors is another one that I have purchased and given to a couple of different people. And I just love that little mini. Okay, so what else do I have for you before I give you my top 5? I want to try to keep this under an hour. Okay, I'm just gonna have a peek around the table here because there's a lot going on. Oh, I'd have a list actually. I have a list of my top 5 somewhere. Okay. 2 Penny did not come, so I ordered. Let's go up here. Let's go to this one. So 2 Penny I've ordered because I wanted that to go to see with the 5-cent oracle. So that hasn't come yet. Cosmovisions hasn't come. Yeah. So that's what we have, other than this one, fairly new to my collection, the Materia Prima, which is absolutely an amazing deck. It should be here. And I am so intrigued with this deck that on so many levels. Give me one second here. Oh, where are you? Let's do this. There we go. So this is pretty cool. The whole, like there's mythology, there's science, you know, spiritual energy. The poses are beautiful. I'm just, and then the correlations between, and the production quality is just gorgeous. This is by Usui. This is Materia Prima. The correlations between the tarot and these cards, it's just really, really fun. And it's not intended to you know, match card by any means. But I think this is an absolutely stunning deck. So, okay. So what is your, go back to the comments. What is your number one oracle deck that was published in 2020? So that's what I'm doing. Because my number one, oh, I forgot this one. Oh my goodness. This one came out in 2020. This is an amazing deck. I did a video. I interviewed the creator. Yeah, this one. This is so cool. I love this deck. It's on that same watercolor paper that her other decks are on. It's called Fantastic Being. So this one is human. And I love the cards that just show a little bit. This is blue glucose. And there is a long oracle message. There's an elemental association. This is platypus. So this is really cool. And this is the third of Rebecca Lefebvre's decks that is out. Sequoia. Yeah. And I also purchased the mini, so I have the mini as well too. And I've done a full video on this one. Look at this one. I love this one. This is the Phoenix card. The keyword is ignite. Yeah. And I learned, oh my goodness, I learned so much when I got this deck, reading all these things. So this is leafy sea dragon, which is actually a species. Yeah. So you know what? This reminds me of a couple of Fool cards. So wouldn't that be cool if this card came out with a Fool card? You know, the Fool jumping off. I never thought of that before this moment. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what my top ones are. I'm waiting for you to say. Did anybody say? Morning Calm Oracle. Okay, I don't have that one. I will have to look at that one. Aaron says, I've been questioning if I should purchase Oracle to work with my tarot. Any suggestions? So which tarot, Aaron, which tarot do you have? Maybe you said that already. I'm sorry, I'll have to go back and find your comment. So Aaron, I have done a whole series of videos, I think like 22 videos on deck combinations. And I use oracles in combination with tarot all the time. And so it's just a matter of matching, for me, matching the energy of the two decks. And so different oracle decks pair well with, you know, different tarot. And of course, we're all going to have different aesthetics and different perceptions on that as well too. Okay, so Jen is Wild Unknown Archetypes and Oracle of Visions. And you don't have any made in 2020. So Oracle of Visions is Ciro Marchetti, right? I don't have that one. Let's see here. Threads of Fate. Threads of Fate. Why do I know that name? I'll have to look that one up, Katie. Okay, so Erin is looking for an oracle for Deviant Moon Tarot. Okay. So that's not a super easy one. Now, you can use the Mildred Payne, which is another deck by Patrick Valenza. But with the Deviant Moon Tarot, I would be looking for an oracle deck that has not a lot going on, because I find with the Deviant Moon, there's a lot that's going on in every image. There's lots of little details that you can look at. And so I would look for an oracle deck that is in secondary colors, that is that's not too busy. And I have not actually contemplated pairing for Patrick's deck, but that's what I would look for. And I would look for secondary colors, not too busy. I wouldn't want white space. I would want the cards filled out right to the border. And so off the top of my head, not using another Patrick Valenza deck, what would I pick? So really, I have no idea at this point. I really need to think about it. What do you guys pair with Deviant Moon? Does anybody have any suggestions? Let's see what the crowd has said here. Darker themed or dark color. Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking that too, Katie. I don't have that on my table to show you. This one, it's not Threads of Fate. This is Threadbound. Is that what you meant? Threadbound. That's a nice combo. Earthbound Oracle. Ah. So Katie, this is the one that's by Schwartz, Andrew Schwartz, right? Is that the one? I think that's the one you're talking about. Ah, that's a good suggestion. Okay, Erin, this might be a good deck actually. Moonology. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a process, Erin. It's a process of playing with your decks, and to really, I was describing this earlier. So when I look at the tarot deck and I go, okay, what color scheme am I looking for? What energy am I looking for? Like sometimes I'll be looking at a and sometimes I do it backwards, but it's easier for me to go from tarot to oracle. So it's really fun process. I encourage you to watch some of the videos that I made about this. Skull Garden, yes, that's the one. That is the one I was talking about. Great. The faceted garden oracle, have not. Oh, and Liz has bought it, and you really like it. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay, I'm going to go to my list. I'm going to tell you. All right. So I'm going to tell you this much. It's so easy. This is number one. There is absolutely, this is my number one oracle for 2020. Decks that were published in 2020. So that is an easy one. My number two, I think, is this one. I'm really so impressed with the production, as well as the whole story that goes with it and everything. So those are my number one and my number two. And then okay, and then you know what? Because these are little, these are my number three, and because they're from the same creator, but that's kind of cheating. So these ones are definitely on the top of the 2020 list. They made it, especially Let Go made a really big impression for me. Okay. And then I have to include Fantastic Being. Fantastic Being is just such a interesting perspective. So this is definitely in my top 5 for 2020. This is the Rainforest card. The keyword is reciprocity. I'll show you the box again for this one. Okay, so if can I have one more? Am I allowed to have one more? So yeah, so that, okay, so that's 4, and I get one more, right? I get one more. And so the one more, I want to choose the one more. I have purchased it and I know exactly how I'm going to use it, but I don't have it in hand. And I want to say that Antiquities of Magic, the one by Gillian Wilde, is an amazing deck that came out this year. And I'm so glad that I have it, but I don't have it in hand. So I want to put that up there as a really remarkable deck for 2020. Okay, so those are my top 2020s. And of course, you know, I use decks from all years, and I love it. Of course, I can cheat. It's my channel. Ooh, Prisma Visions and Shamanic. Yes, that would look really beautiful. That would look really beautiful together, because, you know, it's interesting because the shamanic, I did a side-by-side of Shamanic Healing and the Empathic Oracle. So these two decks by Michelle Motuzis. And Shamanic Healing Oracle is glossy and black. And the Empathic Oracle is blue, navy blue, and it's matte. But they have, because they're both Michelle's work, you know, they have a similar energy to them. But I feel that the blackness of the Shamanic Oracle is very versatile. Unfortunately, it's shiny, but glossy. But it's a really versatile deck. And I have used the Shamanic Healing Oracle with a lot of different tarot decks. It's a great one, great versatile deck. Yeah. You know, sometimes I will have people will ask me what would I pair with da 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 da, and there's a few that, like, I can find it by looking online. Like, we don't actually have to purchase to do this pairing. It's really fun. Oh, well, Miss Christiana. Sorry, I want to get all the vowels in your name. Christiana, Miss Christiana, you will be pleased to know that I purchased this yesterday. I did. I purchased this yesterday, and you know, I trimmed my so Razuli is the artist and the guidebook writer for this deck. And this is based on the wisdom of several sages, including Rumi. Oh, so I was going to say, I trimmed my Rumi oracle, which is also by Blue. This is Blue Angel, right? I think this is Blue Angel. Yes, which is also by Blue Angel. So I trimmed my Rumi oracle. And so the Rumi oracle is glossy, and it is the same art. And this one is matte. This one is matte, and it's borderless. And the thing about this deck is you don't just have Rumi. I'm just going to tell you how many wise ones you have represented in this deck. You have several. You have a lot. The Mystics, page 16. And some of these mystics you will have heard of, and some you may not have. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 mystics included. And I'm so glad that Omar Khayyam is included in this deck, because I remember when I was a little girl, I was not that little, maybe I was 12, and my great uncle gave me a copy of the Rubaiyat. I know that's not the right pronunciation, by Omar Khayyam. And he said that if I wanted to, it's really weird because he didn't seem that spiritual of a person, but that was a book that he made me read when I was quite young, and it was way over my head. So it was really sweet to see that he was here. And I think this might actually replace, the artwork is a little different. I don't think it will replace the Rumi, but it's beautiful. So yeah. So this is another one I purchased yesterday. I purchased a few decks this week. Oh, for sure. For sure, Jen. Yeah. And I think we all have our favorites, right? Shamanic or empathic. They have a slightly different vibe. Oh, that's not a bad idea. They're both glossy too. They're both glossy, which is interesting. Yes. So the Shaman's Oracle is the one with the caves, right? That's the one with the caves. And with yeah, for sure. That might be a really, really good combo. Thank you for that suggestion, Andrew. Cool. All right. So does anybody else want to share their top deck for 2020? How about one last question? What is the Oracle deck that you used the most? That you used the most? It never left your basket. It was almost always on your table. Which Oracle deck? I mean, I have one that I use all the time. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I think this is my all-time favorite Oracle deck. I really do. I don't think I find, and Andrew, this one pairs beautifully with the Wild Unknown as well too. It really does. With the art. There's so many cards in this deck and I have had just amazing. So sometimes I use an Oracle deck just to kind of wind up a reading. And I really find this one to be so special. And this one is not a hug deck either. It has some very challenging cards like this one. You know, this is quite a challenging card. And then it has some amazing, amazing artwork. I love this. You know, and it does have light cards. This is the fun card. Responsibility. I've had, yeah. This is a pretty good card. So because it's an all-round deck, right? It doesn't have a theme. And I love that it's so well balanced between light and shadow. It's not a body beautiful deck. You know, it's an amazing oracle deck. So I don't know if it's still available. Is it still available on Laura Naletta's website? I know it goes in and out of print all the time. What are you guys saying about this one? Ooh, okay, here's some more. Here's some more, yay. Chakra wisdom is versatile. Jen wants to get the connected and free. Yes, the Living Wheel astrology cards are amazing. Those are by Patrick Fogarty. That's a great indie deck. Chakra Insight Oracle. Okay, not Chakra Wisdom, Chakra Insight Oracle. Queen Alice Tarot is on a wish list. Spirit de la Luna Oracle. Spirit de la Luna Oracle. Spirit de la Luna. I'm going to have to look that up. I can't think of... I will have to look that up. Don't know that one. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I need to replace my copy of The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. Did I show you? I'm pretty sure I showed you. I wrote on it. So I wrote the numbers 1 to 14 on the cards, and then I drew the chakra lotus symbols on the ether cards, and the ink smudged and it ran through some of them, and it's kind of a mess. So I need to replace my deck, but that's an amazing deck. Yeah, messages from your angels. I have that deck too. I still have quite a few of my Doreen Virtue decks. My favorite Doreen Virtue deck is Ascended Masters. Okay, let's look here. I asked earlier, but not sure if anyone responded, but it Power 8 Chakra Oracle. I will look that up, Alana. I don't know is the answer. I'm gonna have to go back through the comments and check out some of these decks. Power 8 Chakra. Somebody's just coming in. Oh yeah, weavers for sure. I have weavers here. I was supposed to pull a weaver at the full moon, and I didn't pull a weaver, so I need to pull a weaver. Maybe I'll wait till the next. This is a deck for all time, for sure. This is a deck for all time. I don't use this with client readings, so because once in a while I do, I've used it a couple of times in a client reading, but I have to go to the guidebook to tell part of the story with the guidebook because, whoa, look at this Udigan of the bone needle. This one is so amazing. Yes, this is an oracle deck for all time. And it's even more fun if you edge it in multiple colors. Oh dear, Katie's messages are hidden. I'm not logged on to I'm not logged on to YouTube. Just let me go on to YouTube. I'll see if I can fix that. I know I did a video last year, maybe early this year. I'm just going to see if I can fix. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, you know what? I have to, Katie, I have to make you a mod to do that. If I go add moderator, now it should do it. Nope. You can't put websites unless you are a moderator. That's the problem. So let's try again. It should show. Nope, won't let me do it. So Katie put in Spirit de la Lune. Jen, you can just retype it, I think. You can just type it. Oh, and then Alana put in a website too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Jen, can you type in Alana's website as well too? I don't have Threads of Fate Oracle. Threads of Fate. I don't have that one. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh my God, this is so much fun. And this is not meant to enable you to go crazy shopping either. Okay, cool. Yes, I thought about that, Andrew. I thought about that, but it would not be a quick read, right? So I'm also, and I don't know if Erin is still here, like this is a good conversation for everybody too, that there's certain oracle decks that are not a quick read, right? You need to pull out the guidebook. You need to go and understand the backstory or the poetry or the mythology. And same with the, there's some, and we say that about certain tarot decks as well too, that they're more like oracle decks because there's so many stories and so much mythology and you have to read the guidebook. And so when I'm doing a client reading, even if I have an hour or an hour and 15 minutes with somebody, I still tend to not use decks like the Weaver's Oracle where I need so much time. So I would use that if I were doing an email reading, because then at my leisure, I could go through the story and pull out a quote or something from the Weaver. And then I would use that Weaver as the center card in, for example, a shamanic spread or something. But when I'm doing an in-person reading and I need to like be going like this, it's I don't tend to use it in a client reading, an in-person client reading. Yeah, amazing, beautiful crones in that deck. Okay. I have Soul Cards 1 and 2, and apparently Soul Cards 3 is coming out at some point. And it would also look good with Primordial. That would also look good. It's very intuitive. There's no keywords. There's no guidebook. And so it's all about feeling. And it works really well with more kind of shadow work, psychological kind of like people, like true seekers, you know, it's that kind of, those kind of cards where it's not for like a quick love reading or something, right? Obviously. Beautiful cards, Alana. Beautiful. Thanks, Jen, for posting those links. Yeah, my fire is crackling. And Apurva likes Roots and Wings and Soul cards. Okay. Don't go shopping, Alana. Just keep a list, you know. So how can we do this, right? We keep a list. And I find that if I keep decks on the list for, if I can set a limit. So I'd say a deck has to be on my list for at least 3 months or 4 months. And if after 3 or 4 months I still want it, then I can buy it if I have the money. I think that impulse buying is so dangerous, right? You really need to figure out if you're going to use it, you know? And there's certain, like, so for example, Anna Turian's tarot that's coming out next year, Tarot of the Abyss, I am specifically buying it to work with Sacred Rebels Oracle. And this was just something that I saw. I put the cards together on a screen, and I just felt, wow, that's what they really were going to look great together. And so that is not going to be on my list for 3 months because I know I'm going to use it. But I really like to try and keep decks on my list for a period of time. I really need to look up this Threads of Fate. I'm so confused. And Sarah is here. Hello to Sarah. Yes, Animal Spirit is amazing deck. Jen's only made 1 impulse buy this year. Good for you. Mystic Grove and Raggedy Ann from Duck Soup. Aaron, there's 2 decks, and so they both have a significant number of cards, and they are, go to her website. Her website is amazing. You see how the cards are created, and there's lots of videos on how the cards are created. There's a slightly different vibe to Soul Cards 1 and Soul Cards 2, and they are different decks. And I know some people do mix them together, and so you have like a monster of a deck this thick. So you need to make a big bag or a big box for them. But you really only need 1. Yeah, they're very for deep reflection. That's good that you use your decks. Yeah. Okay. So let's wind this up because I need to clear off my table and set up and do all the thumbnails for the readings that I'm going to do over the next couple of days. And if any of you readers in the chat would like to join me live for some of the readings on the 31st and the 1st, let me know. I would love to have you on as a guest on my channel. And you can message me and I can tell you what this is going to look like. But in a nutshell, so I'm going to do one video, a short video where I go over how I calculate your card for 2021. And then I'm going to pause and probably do readings for 2 or 3 cards at a time. And so if that is 15, let's say 10, maybe 10 minutes per card, I could do 3 or 4 cards. We could do 3 or 4. So if we do 10 to 12 minutes per card, then I could do, 3 or 4. So 3 or 4 readings. And so likely there will be, so there's 22 cards in the major arcana, and not all of them will be in the calculations for 2021. So so there'll be several videos on the 31st and the 1st. And so you could come on live and read with me for one of those segments or more if you want. So let me know if you're interested. Not in the chat now. Please email me through my website and then we can talk about that. But that would be amazing. Oh, Jen would love to. Excellent. So Jen, just tell me what time you would like to read. Just tell me what time. So message me what hours, and then I'm going to do all of the Spacious Tarot, I think actually came out at the beginning of 2020, maybe at the very end. Okay, great. Email me later. So any of you other readers, West Star Tarot, who else is a reader here? Andrew's a reader. Who else is a reader here? Apurva, you're a reader. Who would like to go live and show their beautiful face and do readings with me? Wouldn't that be fun? So let me know. Yeah, this is always so much fun. Oh, thanks, Erin. That's a sweet message. Yeah, peace and healing and all of that for everybody. It's a really strong energy, and I feel like, when it's a beautiful day, but it's also really windy, and you can feel the wind on your back, and it's like the wind is moving you forward, not dangerously so like in a hurricane, but there's this energy. I feel like it's moving us through to 2021, and it's good, and it's cleansing, and it's optimistic. So I feel like it's going to be good. Like we don't have to worry. Like I think that we haven't exactly learned our lesson. We haven't integrated and processed everything that's gone on over the last 8 months, but things are starting to shift. So I feel pretty good about that. So thank you. The West Star Tarot, I will be posting a whole bunch of thumbnails over the next few hours. And so you'll know when they're going to be, but it's going to be on the 31st and the 1st. And so they'll probably be about, I'm guessing, 4 or 5 segments each day. And so you could just pick one of those. Okay. Are we good? Any more questions? If I missed your question, you can ask me another time. I probably won't have time to go back and review this chat, not for a little while anyway. But I want to wish you all well, wish you Happy New Year, lots of love and light. Okay. Blessings to everybody. Namaste.